Episode number 20. Welcome in. Welcome 2023. This is the Expected Returns podcast. For anyone giving this show a shot for the first time, my name is Stephen Luttman. I'm a real estate broker and investor here in upstate New York in the capital region. This is very much a real estate focused conversation. However, we do also touch on financial markets, economic data, really anything that's going to impact the world of housing. For anyone that's been a long-time listener of the program, you'll know I've been talking recently about a 3-unit acquisition in Saratoga County. For anyone that's been considering becoming an investor, this past week I put out a video that's going to be geared specifically towards you. This is identifying what makes a good location versus a bad. This is walking the property together, discussing creative financial solutions on acquiring the property. sjlincoln.com/video. That's going to take you to it. Again, if you are thinking about becoming an investor, this is going to be a great introduction into that. So sjlincoln.com/video. I'll also include the link in the comment section of this video as well. But again, sjlincoln.com/video. Highly encourage you to watch it. And the one rule is I don't run ads during videos. However, if you do make it to the end, please leave a comment. That's the one thing I ask of you. No ads. Instead of watching an ad, leave a comment. With that said, no other plugs. Let's get into the show. There's a famous expression from the 1930s that there's no such thing as a free lunch, meaning that money doesn't grow on trees. If there's something you're interested in, you actually got to go out and work for it. In an effort to start the year off on as strong a footing as possible, today we're actually going to disprove that. We're talking about free money, and this isn't clipping coupons. This is meaningful, sizable dollar amounts that are available to you today. And the first of which ties directly into real estate. Zillow put out a survey recently that 72% of home buyers don't plan on shopping for a mortgage when it comes to home buying. I don't care if your mom is the president of the bank. This cannot happen. The greatest strength that we have as consumers is the ability to pit one business against the other. They need to be competing for our business. This could be something as simple as an eighth of a point difference, can mean thousands of dollars to you over the course of the loan. And don't be afraid to pull something like, hey, Mr. So-and-so lender, the bank down the street really wants to earn my business. Is there any way you can waive this application fee for me? I need you to be speaking to at least 3 different banks when it comes to buying your house. This excuse that, I talked to the first lender, they seemed pretty knowledgeable, I'm going to go with them, can't happen. I need you talking to, again, at least 3 different banks. The second part we're going to talk about today is going to be your savings account. So I took a look at the local bank rival relationship, and I'm currently earning 0.05% on money that I have saved with them. JP Morgan Chase is advertising 0.02%, Bank of America 0.04%. This just isn't good enough. We need to be earning substantially more than this. As of the date of this recording, folks like American Express, Discover, Marcus by Goldman Sachs are all offering savings accounts paying north of 3%. What are we trying to achieve here? Well, the national average for a household savings is something like $30,000. By making this switch, and I'm not talking about switching to some guy in a van. These are reputable companies we're talking about here. 10 minutes worth of work is going to earn you an additional $1,000 this year alone for 10 minutes worth of work. You really can't afford not to be shopping around when it comes to your savings account because, again, this is your money. You deserve this. You're entitled to this. I'm always hesitant. I always tell you guys I don't give financial advice, right? But I'm always happy to share what I'm looking at doing, things that I'm exploring. And where I'm putting my money is if you're willing to put in just a few minutes extra of work is extremely short-dated United States treasuries. So I'm talking 30-day treasuries. We've talked about treasuries in the past on past episodes. And just as a refresher, treasuries are how the government keeps its lights on. Essentially, it borrows money to pay for things that the government does to keep everything operational. So I'm looking at lending the government very short-term durations, meaning the reason we have savings is in the event of emergency, we need to access this money. We can't have it tied up for long periods of time. So by doing something like 30-day treasuries, the money's tied up for 30 days, but after that, you can then access it. Right now, that's going to net you a little over 4%. So that's the avenue I'm going to be exploring. Again, that's going to be a little bit extra work. You're going to be going to it's going to be treasurydirect.gov. That's the website, treasurydirect.gov. There you can set up your account. And after you take a look, you might be saying, you know what, Steve, this is just beyond my comfort level. I don't totally understand what's going on with this. And that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. At least kick the tires on it, give it a look. And at a minimum, if you say that's not for you, totally fine. Do take a look at alternatives when it comes to another savings account. Because if you find yourself in a situation like I did, where you're earning essentially nothing for the bank to hold on to your money, that's not good enough. You need to be earning more than that. You've worked hard for that money. Make sure that you're being paid fairly for depositing that money. So again, shop that around. If you are interested in exploring treasuries, that's going to be treasurydirect.gov. That's the path I'm going to be headed. But at an absolute minimum, take a look at alternatives when it comes to savings, because you can be doing most likely substantially better than what you're doing right now. Next, we'll go over to a third way to get free money, and that's going to be finding money that's already yours. Now, New York State currently has $17 billion worth of what's called unclaimed funds. This could be something simple as you had a bank account and you forgot about it, or someone had left you stock, they passed away, and for whatever reason, they just never bothered to share that information with you. Maybe as a kid, you collected a paycheck and you forgot to grab your last paycheck on your way out the door. There's a lot of reasons why you might have unclaimed funds available to your name. And you might be thinking, well, come on, Steve, we're all smart people that listen to this show. There's no way that there's money sitting out there for me. The stat on their website is 1 in 10 New Yorkers have money that they don't know about. And apparently one of those 10 is me. Because in preparation for this show, I typed in my name, and sure enough, looks like back in 2017, I was involved in a eBay transaction that, for whatever reason, I'm owed some money on. So I did go ahead and plug in for my information on that. But the website, if you want to explore it, again, this is 30 seconds worth of work, is OSC, so that's Office for the State Comptroller, osc.state.ny.us. And this is something simple as you plug in your name. It comes up with, everyone who has a similar name to you. You look to match up the address, yada, yada. It's easy breezy. There is no downside. And again, even people that run a finance-related podcast have money waiting out there for them. So osc.state.ny.us. And the last one we'll wrap up with when it comes to free money is going to be credit cards. And I do want to tread lightly on this one because it can lead to some pretty nasty situations. Now, first and foremost, if you are actively shopping for a house, or you struggle sticking to a budget, money management is something that you're having trouble with, do not take on extra credit. When you're buying a house, the last thing you want is new credit to pop up that can devastate your debt to income and your credit score and so forth. So do not be applying for new credit when it comes to shopping for a house. And then obviously, if you struggle with money management skills and so forth, credit card debt can snowball very, very fast. So I would be very hesitant to encourage anyone who's struggling with something like that to go out and apply for a credit card. But for everybody else, there are folks out there, Chase, US Bank, Capital One was the other one that I came across. They are all offering sign-up bonuses north of $500, $500 or above. This, again, is free money. If you are going to be spending money in the next year, which obviously we all are, and then someone is offering you free money, for a lot of households, an extra $500 has a substantial meaning to it. And if you figure, well, maybe your household has 2 adults, you each go out and get one, an additional $1,000 could be pretty substantial. So that's something to take a look at. But then I do want to wrap up that particular section by saying, if you are someone that struggles with money management, please be very, very cautious when it comes to credit cards. To put a bow on this section, so if you were to take action on the 4 items we talked about, it's not impossible that this could net you somewhere in the $5,000 to $10,000 range this year. And the thing I want to stress is that I'm not encouraging you to go out and get a part-time job. This is all free, little to no effort whatsoever. we're going to want to start off our year as strong as possible, right? We've talked about in previous episodes. There's some murky waters ahead possible, but let's do our best to start off the year as strong as we possibly can and make sure that we go out and get that free lunch. Up some thoughts on the current housing market, but first a quick word from today's show sponsor, Lincoln Realty, headquartered right here in Ballston Spa, New York. Lincoln Realty, that's me. That's my office. I've been a real estate investor for the past 10 years and do operate the office here as the licensed broker. If you or somebody that you care about has a housing-related need in the capital region, please, let's try to connect. Let's have a conversation. My email address, if you wish to reach out that way, is going to be steven@sjlincoln.com. That goes directly to me. The website is sjlincoln.com/book a call. And on there, you can schedule a phone or a Zoom conversation with me, either one. Again, the email is steven@sjlincoln.com, sjlincoln.com/book a call. Let's get back to the show. Just some thoughts I have on the real estate market as a whole. Affordability is getting better. We've seen interest rates come down about 0.5 percentage point from the highs in November, and at least here in the capital region, prices have come down. On the median transaction, about $20,000. Should I be buying a house now or continue to sit on the sidelines is the question. Experts who follow this type of thing typically point to 6 months of inventory as indicating a healthy real estate market. Meaning if nobody else were to put their house on the market, it would take the current buyer pool ideally 6 months to absorb the number of houses on the market. Here in the capital region, we have 2 months, meaning the amount of demand for capital region housing far exceeds the amount of available supply, which makes sense, right? Because we've had all these people the past 9 months, 12 months, whatever it might be, going out and getting the 3% mortgages and going out and getting their 4% mortgages. The thought now of trading that in for something in the mid sixes feels gross, right? No one would voluntarily sign up for that. And it's to the point where in a lot of cases, even downsizing. So going to a smaller house, given what prices have done the past 2 years, given what rates have done the past year, downsizing actually becomes more expensive than staying in your current house. So yes, prices get all of the headlines. Yes, interest rates get a lot of the headlines. What you want to focus on is the amount of available inventory in whatever market is that you're interested. We'll finish up today, given that it's the start of a new year, with a brief conversation about goal setting. UBS put out a survey recently that found 18% of adults had lived rent-free with a friend or a family member this past year, a 30% increase versus the year previous. This is the year we get you out of your mom's basement. That's a great goal for you to have. That's an amazing New Year's resolution. Having the goal itself is not enough, though. Research has shown that those who write down their goals are 20% more likely to succeed than those who don't. And if you want to go the extra mile, those who tell a peer or someone that they care about what they're working on tend to be 40% more likely to succeed versus those who just keep it to themselves. And if you're thinking, I don't really know who I would talk to, or I'm a little bit embarrassed, tell me. I'm super interested to know what you're working on, and obviously would be happy to offer guidance or any type of suggestions. Having a goal is good. Writing it down is great. But telling someone what you're working on is amazing. And finally, as we get out of here, I was kind of trapped up in the Southwest Airlines flight cancellation nonsense this past year. Not to the point, where a lot of people had it. A lot of families had it much worse off than I did, but it was still a giant pain in the butt. And I left the whole experience feeling pretty dirty. As a passenger, I was clearly being lied to. 6-7 hours sitting in an airport. They knew that plane wasn't going anywhere. They could have told us that, but they lied to us. No apologies and no, hey, we're going to do our best to make good on this. Versus at that exact same airport, the very next day, JetBlue got me home immediately. And on top of that, apparently they had some kind of mechanical issue that delayed things a little bit. During my flight home, they emailed me an apology letter with a credit for a future flight, which, as we enter 2023, let's all try to be more like JetBlue. Deliver on promises that we make to people. be helpful, and give more than just the absolute minimum effort that's required. That's it. Thanks for making it through the episode. I'm glad we had a chance to connect to start off 2023. Steven@sjlincoln.com. That is my email address. sjlincoln.com/book a call. That's the website where you can schedule with me. Steven@sjlincoln.com. sjlincoln.com/book a call. We'll talk again soon.